You know what time it is when the shades are on. It's story time. And your brother Jay International got a story to tell. What it do? YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe to this video, to this channel. Today, I want to talk about when your family invest in your demise. When your family invest in your demise and you don't even know about it. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that and relating to my story that I have to tell. About a year ago, I was having a conversation with one of my family members, an uncle. This particular uncle, he likes to get wasted. He likes to have a few shots of the fifth of the Hennessy to the head. And after he has a few shots of the Hennessy to the head, he starts to talk. This uncle likes to talk. And most people, when we get a little tipsy, if we're a reserved type of individual, we'll let out. We'll become more loose. In particular, if we go to a club and we have a few drinks and we may be kind of reserved, we may be kind of shy. For most individuals, when they get a few drinks in them, they let loose. Okay? And this is the same with this particular uncle. He's been drinking for many years. You know, he's been drinking for as long as I can remember, when I was a young whippersnapper. And whenever he got drunk, we always say, "Oh, here we go." So, but in recent years, I would give it to him. He's been trying to taper back on it, but you know, I think it was one point we actually quit. Anyway, so you know, he had a few drinks. I went to go visit him, and he kind of spilled the beans on me that another particular uncle had taken out a life insurance policy on me as a young whippersnapper, as a young child, as a minor. And I'm like, what? I'm like, is that true? He's like, yeah. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to, when I go see this particular uncle, I'm going to go confront him about this, to ask him to verify if what he told me was true. And this particular uncle is very successful financially. He's well off. He's made good investment decisions. So he's well off. I wouldn't put this past this particular uncle because that's just who he is. So I go to him and I say, hey, I hear from your brother that you took out a policy on me as a child. Is this true? And he was like, yeah, we took it out when you were a child, and you know, just in case. Now, I didn't really press the issue then, but I had to think about it. I went back, I said, okay, because I was just totally kind of blown away. Like, why would they, you know, as a child, like, I didn't understand it, you know? And so I had to really just go back, sit on it and think, like, you know, what's really going on? You know, how do they really feel about me? You know, why would they have a life insurance policy on, or start one on someone that was still a child? This something they got on me apparently when I was a child. Not even not even a teenager. I think I was a child when they got this. And I had to think like, okay, usually when people get life insurance policies, it's usually, you know, they're either some young adults will get them, you know, but usually people will get them for themselves. So if they have like children or a wife, or if it's a woman, a husband, so that if something happens to them, their family members are taken care of. And if someone gets a life insurance policy on somebody else, it's usually because they feel, okay, this person, you know, may be having some type of terminal illness, or maybe they live such a life that warrants them to have it, or maybe their profession, or like maybe they feel like, hey, this person might meet their untimely demise. So I said, okay, I was a youth when they got it. And yes, I understand, you know, my father just died suddenly. You know, nobody saw it coming. But he was in his 50s. You know, I think he was in his late 50s. And he didn't have one. He didn't have one, which is why I was left effed up after he gone. Basically, I was left with nothing, you know. And as a side note, if you have children, you shouldn't do that, you know. As a side note, if you have children right now and you are able to get life insurance on yourself, you should do that, because tomorrow is not promised. We know that. You don't know when your time is, and so it is very intelligent to get one now while you can, if you have children, especially if you have children, because you don't want to leave your children effed up, and you know, basically they'll be starting from zero, you know. And a lot of people of us in the black community, that's unfortunately how, because of the system of white supremacy, racism, that's unfortunately how we leave our heirs. We leave our heirs usually with nothing but debt, or nothing at all. So that's basically what happened with me. But anyway, back to me, off of that sidebar. So I said, okay, it only makes sense that they would get something like that on me, because I didn't have any health elements. I've been healthy. I didn't have anything that was going on with me physically or anything. You know, I was a healthy young child, you know, hyper, energetic, you know, no problems, you know, participated in sports and whatnot. So the only thing that I can tie to them why they would do that is because they always, and I always knew this, I always understood this, that they always viewed me as the black sheep, as the wild one, as the crazy one, as, hey, this one, unfortunately, something might happen to him, right? They've always viewed me as that. I know that. I always sensed that, and I always felt that. So it only made sense why this particular uncle, who's financially astute, would make an investment in what he saw as my eventual demise. That he basically saw that this investment would pay off for him. you know, eventually, because I was the black sheep. I was the wild one, you know. I was the one that something was going to happen, you know. Oh, he's been incarcerated. He's been in trouble as a youth. We need to get this on him because something probably going to happen to him. And so when I confronted him about it later, because I had to confront him about it later, and I had to say, hey, you know, that policy, I didn't really, and we never really had I never really had a conversation with him about it, how I felt about it, and how I felt that, you know, how they felt about me. But I had to say, hey, you know, that policy, you guys made an investment on me. And it started with my stepmother. That's what he said. He said my stepmother was the first one that created the policy. And then he kind of took it over because my stepmother, basically after my father died, she's like, I don't want to be bothered with it no more. So he took it in his hands to take it over and make the payments on it. And I didn't know about it. Like I said, I just found out about this a year ago. And I'm like, hey, you know, it's funny that you can always be in my face, talk to me about, oh, you need to worry about your retirement. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. But you can't seem to make it known to me that you had this policy on me that I didn't even know about. So since you wanted to hide this policy from me, I want to cash out on that. I need that right now. I don't need you to worry about my burial. I'll tell my children, hey, just cremate me. Don't worry. Don't even bother yourself with that. Just cremate me and that's it. You know, so I don't need this fake ass elaborate funeral where you get to have a whole bunch of fake people that never called you, when you never reached out to you just to see how you was doing, never stopped by just to say hi, never did none of that. Now these same individuals, and I've been to these funerals, and I was never one to do that. I never did that. I would never go up and get some fake words that I knew wasn't true. But you have these in particular at black funerals. So I know I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want a bunch of fake mofos getting up telling lies about, oh, he was a good guy and this, that, and the other, and oh, you know, I really cared about him. Save that BS, because half of it, majority of it is BS. I've seen this at funerals. I know none of y'all was reaching out to this individual. I've been at funerals, man, where the individual committed suicide, right? And if you cared so much about this individual, how come you didn't check in to see what's going on with this individual that led to this individual to commit suicide? Because usually when someone commits suicide, it don't just happen like that. It's usually a process. You know, they're feeling depressed, they're feeling down. It shows in their attitude. They probably talk about it, you know. And if you cared so much about this individual, why you didn't reach out? Why you wasn't reaching out to them to let them know that they had somebody there for them in their corner? So I don't want, when I seen that, I don't want this fake stuff. No, this cremate me. You know, that's, you know, that you know, my children is there. That's good. But that, I don't want this fake stuff. You know what I mean? And so I just said, hey, man, I don't need you to worry about that. I don't need you to worry about that. I don't want your investment on my demise no more. Okay. I want to cash out, and I need the money right now so I can do something with it right now. Okay. And he had a problem with it. He had a problem with it because he felt like it was an investment and he put his money into it, and that he would lose if he just cash out and give it to his nephew, his family, his supposed family member. But evidently with this individual, the money is more important to him than his own family members need. So that's why I say, man, that's why I always say, hey, man, your family ain't always your blood. Your family is not always your blood. Sometimes your family is not your blood. You know, the person that would do more for you 9 times out of 10 won't be your blood. And that's how it's been for me. So with that being said, it's your brother Jay International tapping back in once again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will holler at y'all later. Peace.